Hello and welcome to Newark City of Poets. I am your host, Jaleesa McEachin, and today we have the amazing Troy Poet Lewis. He is the CEO of Silent Minds Entertainment. He founded the National Poetry Awards. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you. So, how did you start writing poetry?
Well, I started writing poetry when I was 15. I actually wanted to be a rapper. And we had this little group called Fisherman Posse. It was me, Maurice, Rashad, and Kinley. And it just never panned out. So I guess I just went into poetry undercover.
Okay. That's really interesting because a lot of people write poetry, then they go into wanting to become a rapper, but the opposite, that's kind of...
I was in the days with Kumo D and everything like that. So, that was my inspiration at the time, That's what I came up on, was hip-hop.
I was trying to picture you as a rapper.
I can't picture it either. Don't worry.
Well, I know your style of writing is revolutionary. Where did it originate from?
Well, I read some books, coming up, like Amiri Baraka. I used to read his work, and Nikki Giovanni and things like that. So I was just more in tune with the political side of it. I wanted to be back in the 60s and 70s. I wanted to see how that was. It was a fun. It wasn't. I won't say it was a fun movement, but it meant something. So I always wanted to be a part of that. So I guess my writing came from that era. So they always say, you're not part of this era yet,
right?
Or you missed your time. I think that I'm on time, but I'm late.
On time but late. And you've mentioned Nikki Giovanni and you've mentioned Amiri Baraka. So who influences your message when you write?
A lot of African American authors. I just can't, sit down and say one or two.
Right.
Because there's a lot of writers out there who are very influenced, and it might be a book, it might be a sentence, it might be a word, that word just might influence you for that day.
Right.
So as far as being a writer and my influences, it spans out, and it's just not the African American culture either, we have to go to Japan and China, they have excellent writers, poetry just didn't start, in the 19th century.
Right.
It goes way back. So, you have to give credit where credit is due.
Exactly.
You have to go back to Aristotle, and you go way back. So it's amazing how far it's become.
And it's funny because when you mention Japan and other parts of the world, there are different styles of writing. There's the rhyming poetry.
Mm-hmm.
There's revolutionary poetry. Out of your collection of poetry, because you do have a lot, and it's really awesome. But out of your collection of poetry, what is one of your favorite pieces? Because I know what my favorite piece is, but what is one of your favorite pieces?
Wow. I mean, I have over 1,000 pieces written.
That's a lot.
But my favorite piece of all time, and every time I get up on the stage, I always have to give them War in America. That was just so endearing to me at the time when I actually wrote it. And then I see kids, they walk around when I'm finished, they walk around, War in America, War in America. So it enlightens me that they're listening, and sometimes they may not understand it, but at the same time they do. So, it's appreciative to keep doing that piece, so it's a favorite of mine.
That's actually my favorite piece that you've written.
Oh, really?
Because it speaks to what's going on in America, as we speak, and it's a lot of people that don't touch on that. So for you to be an artist, an influential artist at that, but for you to be an artist and actually touch on what a lot of people want to say, that's very influential and very important, and we need that.
Right.
There's a lot of people that need that voice that don't have a voice. I'm not sure if you watched the Oscars or if you've heard, about Common and John Legend. How they are the voice. They were the voice for some people. Do you feel that poets have a responsibility to be the voice for the voiceless?
We always have a responsibility for that. But it's just sad that we are overlooked as a genre in a whole. If we are the voices, then we need to speak louder.
Turn the volume up just a little bit.
Exactly. And I would say that I am part of that genre. So I'm going to turn up just a little bit louder. So that way the people who I influence, they can turn up with me. And it's not turn up as in partying. It's turn up as in turn up your voices.
Right.
Speak up. They always saying speak up, speak out.
Right.
But a lot of us is not doing that anymore. A lot of us is speaking out, but we're sitting down. So now it's time for us to stand up and speak out.
That's like a poem within itself.
Yeah, we're poets. This is what we do.
Exactly. You have a book called Diary of a Black Nation.
I do. That was my first book, actually.
Now, that is a powerful title. So what was your influence with that book?
Well, that goes back to, the Mary Baraka and Nikki Giovanni. But at the same time, growing up, you don't understand a lot of things that goes on in the culture, that goes on in history or time and things like that. So involving, finding these news clippings and media, and you start to read and you start to influence and you start to separate, you find these things that are just, wow, they're amazing. You never know who founded what. You never knew who was on what committees or how deep it goes. Everything is political. And, we all know that. But at the same time, it's like you're influenced by it.
Right.
So that's where a lot of my writing comes from. I didn't know about my culture until I grew up. I didn't know what DNA was. I didn't know where my background was. I just knew that I was a black little kid living in an urban neighborhood. But then when I started reading and defining life, it went deeper than that. So, a lot of my writing comes from history.
Well, I know that you're making history, whether you know it or not. You did found the National Poetry Awards, something that we've never had. Well, I think we've never had, because poets really don't have that voice, like you said. Like we're the voiceless in the entertainment community. And how do you feel that this National Poetry Awards is like going to make a movement? Like, where do you see this going? Because I think that this is amazing.
Well, before I give you that answer, I would just like to put, I'm one of the voices in the poetry community, because you do have other venues like NUSPA. They're also an award ceremony. You have the Brave New Voices, so you have other people speaking out. I'm just doing my part as far as being part of that community, speaking up and speaking out and giving people a platform. National Poetry Award just started about 6 years ago. It was an idea that I had. I just jumped out there. I didn't go by the rules or regulations that I supposed to have. I don't think that there's supposed to be any type of rules when it comes to defining a business or speaking up for somebody. I shouldn't have to ask your permission to speak up for you if you can't speak for yourself.
Right.
I should just go ahead and do it. So I'm building this house. And I don't want to call it a business because it's not a business. I'm building a house, a foundation for the poets and spoken word artists all across America. And it's just not for poets. It's for artists, because we bring everybody in. Whether if you're black, you're white, you're Chinese, Japanese, whether if you're old, you're young, it doesn't matter. I'm building that bridge so everybody can walk on it and fellowship together. But a lot of people, they look at it as, oh, well, he think he's better than that. No, because you're welcome too. I want you on the stage too. I want you to be rewarded and recognized for your works just as well as everybody else. Some people look at it as a competition. This is not a competition. I do this from the bottom of my heart. This is what I do. This is my way of giving back to you. So, for me being the person who I am, I will not apologize. Because this is not just for me. It's for everybody.
So, National Poetry Awards is making a movement.
We're making a movement. We're going on 6 years now.
And how is this year a little different from last year?
This year is going to be a whole lot different because, one, of location. Last year we was in Norfolk, Virginia. This year we're bringing it to Harlem.
The Big Apple.
Yeah, we're going to be in New York. And a lot of people wanted to see it in New York. It took us time to get there because, we just wanted everybody to be a part of it first. We just didn't want to start out so big, under the big bright lights, So now we have that movement going on, and we have enough poets and spoken word artists who is following, who's supporting, So now it's time to give them what they really want. So in 2015, you will see us in the fall in Harlem at the National Black Theater, So, and New Eurekan Poets Cafe. We'll be there 2 days. So
I cannot wait. I'm actually excited sitting here. Being a poet, you want to be in a venue like that. You want to network with, other people that are like you and people that are different from you. That's how you build your community. So that is I'm excited. Like I said, and also you do, you're the CEO of Silent Minds Entertainment.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Silent Minds Entertainment is just pretty much a online promotion company for artists, underground artists, independent music. It doesn't matter what you are, whatever genre, we're going to promote you. Right now we're collaborating with a few companies out of Dallas, out of Tennessee. Silent Minds has some things about to go on that's pretty promising, working with some big time talent. So we're about to start pulling our punches now.
Okay. It sounds like you have a lot going on.
Yeah, we have a lot, but as far as undisclosures, I have to sign waivers and things like that. I really can't talk about it, but we got some things that the world's gonna love.
Do you have any future projects other than the National Poetry Awards and Silent Minds? Do you have any other books or anything that you're in the works with?
I do. I'm working on my 4th book right now, and I'm working on my 3rd CD. And also, in between here and there, I'm still doing my acting. So, I just did a thing on Power, so, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so, because Omaria Hardwood, he's a poet as well.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so, we're doing some things. We're working.
I can definitely see that. So I guess people can find you on social media and, network.
I'm Googleable.
Just Google me.
Yeah, just Google me. But if you really want to find me, just go to Troy Poet Lewis, Facebook, IG, I guess it's Instagram.
Guess.
So Twitter, you can find me at Silent Minds Group, SILENTMYNDZGRP, Silent Minds Group.
Okay, well, I definitely want to thank you for stopping by. This is really exciting, with the National Poetry Awards, and like I said, I cannot wait. So I really do want to thank you.
Oh, thank you. National, I just need to throw a shameless plug out there. The National Poetry Awards.com.
Hey, get it in while you can, right?
It's there.
So again, thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you so much for watching, and until next time.
This piece here is called War in America.